However, I'm going to let you know this right now. If you don't do this one thing, none of the other stuff really matters. Let me bring this down for a second. So, that one thing is going to be budgeting your money every month, having a plan for your money every month, writing it down, putting it on a spreadsheet, utilizing some type of application to track your money. If you don't do that, you're going to live a life of pretty much uh, scarcity, lack, not enough, and being a hamster in a wheel. You're just running, chasing, continuously moving the goalpost, and you'll never hit a stage of financial success. I'm far from some type of multimillionaire, some multi-billionaire. However, I am doing the things on a day-to-day basis to ensure that I live a life of dignity. Becoming super wealthy is not the top goal in my life. Having buckets and buckets of money is not really the goal. It is something that it would be cool to obtain. It will be cool to obtain a few $1,000,000 over my lifetime. Shoot, a few $100 million over my lifetime. That would put me in a position to set me, specifically me, the people around me, such as family and individuals outside of family, such as my community, in a better, more comfortable situation throughout our time here on this planet. Uh, but super mega wealthy is not the number one goal. A life of dignity, of financial dignity is the goal. And you can't get to that place of financial dignity if you don't set out a plan every month for your dollars. So I'm going to get right to telling you, how do we set out a plan for our dollars? First off, we list how much is coming in every month. And we do this not when the money comes in, but we do this a few weeks before the money comes in, because it gives us some time to sort of, stew on that financial plan. You get me? Gives you some time to get the plan together, to scope out, okay, as we're getting closer to that payday, we're going to really hone in on what we're doing, okay? We're not going to put this much in, I'm not going to go that far, but we set out on the plan weeks before the money comes in. And then when the money comes in, we just stick to that plan. And sticking to that plan is quite simple when you're not utilizing things such as credit cards and you just swipe a debit card. Or instead, when you get paid, you just go and pull out cash for that pay period. You get what I'm saying? It's quite simple. And once you do this for long enough, you'll get to a point where it's simple. There's not too much complexity. There's not too much. You've honed in on how to do this thing. I'm not saying the first time you set your budget out there, it's going to be perfect. I'm not saying the second week, the third month. But I'm saying after a year or two, a decade, oh, you get really good at managing your finances. Oh, you get really good at continuously looking back throughout the pay period and checking in. So we got paid, and 2 days later, we're checking in. We're checking in. We're continuously checking in, and we're not letting days or weeks or months go by where we're not checking in. You have to check in financially. I worked at a Foot Locker growing up, and I was a manager at about the age of 17 or, yeah, about the age of 17. I was the third manager in line, and I had a key to the store and everything, and I had people under me that I was managing throughout the shift. And throughout that shift, I was required to maintain the finances of that shift. You get what I'm saying? I'm not a a CFO, I'm not a financial executive, but in that moment, I am securing the financial status of the company at that time for those 8 hours. So by the end of the shift, what happens? You may have worked at an ice cream store. You may have worked at a convenience store. You may have worked at a clothing store for a period of your life. So you understand that by the end of the shift, everything must line up. You get what I'm saying? All the numbers must line up. When you go and count the drawer and you do the difference between what the shift started at, say it was the bank was $500 and you guys made $2,500 in cash. So what's that bring you to? That brings you to a drawer of $3,000. So we're going to take the 500 back and we're going to put that in the safe, and we're going to take the other 25 and we're going to go ahead and do our math on the bag and write up our paperwork, and then by the closing time, we're going to close the store and we're going to go and make our drop. And the bank's going to come pick it up tomorrow, that 2,500, and they're going to deposit it. And it trickles up the line. And next thing you know, the financial offices are looking back on receipts and saying, okay, they had a day that day, this day on that day of that year, okay, they had that much come in. They count the bag up, it's 25. Okay, there's a deposit of 25, we're good to go. But hey, I've had instances, I've had situations where they're like, hey, it says cash revenue was 2,500, but it looks like you guys dropped 24.95. You guys are missing $5, or you guys are missing 5 cents. It gets that serious. You guys are off by 98 cents. Let's not keep, we're gonna let this slide for now, but let's not let this be an often occurrence. So I'm just saying, if we could take that mental model, you get what I'm saying? That mental model of the way a business tracks money and track our own finance. Say you were to do it, say the way a business does it is 100%. They're at 98%. Say you were to be able to be on point with your finances, the way of tracking at an 85%. You know where that will take you financially? Do you know what that would do to your financial situation over a 10 or 20 year span? You know how much wealth you would gain? See, the thing is, a lot of us don't track our money. And I have been, a lot of times I'm speaking off of previous experiences and my own lack and my own, poor misjudgments and miscalculations. So I understand this a lot. I've been on this path of wealth creation since 2014 with my own ups and downs and my own, like I just said, poor habits, poor behaviors, poor psychological behaviors around money, misjudgments, miscalculations, operating off of feelings and not actual real, planned efforts. So I'm not here to point the finger and say, if you're not doing this, you ain't nothing. You ain't crap and you ain't never going to be crap. I'm not here to say that. What I'm here to say that is you need to begin now. If you could do this now, you don't got to, we could get past the past. Let's get past the past and let's move to the future and understand that if I could start this right now, if I could get good at managing my money right now, I write out my income, I write out my monthly expenses, I write out how much money I'm going to spend for that month in food, in all those different variable expenses. Just go through a month and track all your expenses and figure out where the money's going. And then the next month we get a little bit better. And then the next month, we're not only tracking the major expenses, but now we're tracking, hey, I just went and picked up some wings, y'all. I had to go pick up me some wings, I had to go pick up me some wings. And, for the past 2 days, I even had a meal out the other day, like yesterday, and I went to the grocery store the other day before, and You know, I'm having these experiences out in the world, obviously, that cost money. We all know things cost money. That's not a problem. But are we tracking it? So what did I do? I got my food for takeout, right? And I got on my phone. And I said, okay, 27th, okay. How was it spent? Okay, cash. Okay, how much was it? Okay, it was 26.93. Okay. And what was it? Okay, it was wings. Okay, and then I put my phone away. And that's it. And by the end of the month, I have a list of everything I spent. But I don't just go and I swipe my card. A lot of people out here swiping credit cards and doing all this craziness. Pay on debit, pay on cash. Specifically, I want you to pay on cash. But after that, I just want you to do a quick little 5-minute analysis of what just happened with your money. I don't want you out here just spending money, ain't thinking about it. That's what the media and the, you know, your favorite celebrity. I just spent 250 grand at the Gucci store. Hold on. They're probably as broke as any other person in this world, because they say 60-70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. We ain't going there right now. So just because they spinning a bag don't mean they're really tracking the bag, and you know they're pretty susceptible to being broke in the next half decade. So you don't want to be like that. And even the greatest, you know, earners in this world end up broke because of poor spending habits. So that's all I'm here to say is track your money, get your budget right. This stuff ain't too complex. Get your budget right. Put it down on paper, put it on a spreadsheet, utilize an app. Take the time, make the effort to get your money in line. You work too hard to be, you know, 60, 70, 80 years old and not having nothing. You work too hard to be 30 years old and not having nothing. You work too hard, man. You out here scratching and clawing, out here trying to make a buck. Out here you doing 40, 50, 60 hours a week at a job and still broke. Still don't got nothing. So we want to fix that. And all the fixes, that number one fix is the changing of our behavior. We don't just spend. We spend on purpose. We spend with a plan. That's all you got to do, y'all. I'm out of here. Keep the faith. And if you ain't keeping the faith, find your faith. Find your faith, because that is what is going to get you through this life. Faith. You must have faith. And your faith can't be in your own human ability. Your faith has to be in something greater than you. And when you find that faith, you're going to find that life gets a lot more simple. Faith. Have faith that you can do this. Have faith that you can get on a plan with your money. Have faith that you don't have to be like the people that came behind you that were broke and miserable. Have faith that you can do this. Have faith. Don't count on your own human ability. Have faith. Find your faith. Keep the faith, because you can do this.